Okay, so what's the plan for today?
So I'm super excited for today and this video in particular because one of the things that we have kind of realized over the last 4 years of living RV life is that it can be hard and it can definitely be isolating, and there is a huge difference in doing things with other families and with community and with friends versus just going and exploring and having those adventures on your own. We do that plenty where we just, the four of us, our own family, go and we do our thing. But it's a completely different dynamic when we're able to link up with other travel families and with other like-minded people and just do things together as a community. And so that's what we're gonna be able to do today. And we're gonna share some things with you guys about how to find community while you're on the road. So you're gonna wanna make sure to stay tuned.
3, 2, 1,
Looks like a whole wave just moving out. That's so cool.
So we are going to have a group of us, travel families, that's going to take a ferry over to Pigeon Key. So this is just one of those really fun things when you can get a group of people together, and everybody just has so much more fun when you can do things like this in community. It's a cat, huh?
Ooh, love it.
So for the first 3 years of our RV journey, we pretty much just went it alone. We created trip plans of places that we wanted to see, and we went with just our family. And while we would sometimes meet other families out on the road, we never really made connections that went beyond just maybe that short amount of time that we would be in a campground with that family. And we started noticing something in our own family and with our kids when we would start planning those next trips out. Our kids especially just weren't as excited as they once were to be able to go and adventure and explore new things. Now, it wasn't until right as the pandemic hit that we had an experience at a campground that completely changed it for us.
You can't talk about what's unique about Pigeon Key without talking about the Florida East Coast Railroad. And you can't talk about the Florida East Coast Railroad without talking about Henry Flagler, the gentleman that built the Florida East Coast Railroad.
So one of the things that's super fun about doing something in a group like we're doing here is some of the kids decided to jump off of the dock.
Not gonna do it, huh?
There's too many
Unknown fish nibbling on your feet.
comfort level of jumping off into the unknown, literally.
Oh my god! Dad, are you okay?
Woohoo! He's got the GoPro still.
We had an experience at a campground that completely changed it for us. So here we are at a campground in Arizona, and we just planned on being there to spend the week, and all of a sudden I get a text message from Ben saying, hey, you'll never guess who just pulled in. Well, some friends of ours actually that we had connected with back in Colorado literally just pulled in, and they knew we were going to be there and they were coming that direction, so they decided that they would hang out there for the week with us. And it completely changed the dynamic of the week for our family, with our kids knowing that they had buddies with other kids that they already knew. They didn't have to go through this whole awkward phase of trying to make friends to only say goodbye and not know if they'd ever see them again. And so after that week was over, we each had a few different travel plans, so we went our own separate ways. But as things progressed, we realized we just wanted to be able to hang out some more. So we changed our plans. We went back to the campground that they had then moved to, and there we stayed for the next 2 weeks. And out of that was birthed a desire to RV with other families and be in a community with other families on the road, because we saw how big of a difference that it made for us and for our kids. So how do you find community out on the road? Well, there's a couple of different ways that you can find community. One is through organizations like Full-Time Families, and there's also other organizations that are starting to pop up because this need to have community amongst RVers is growing more and more the more that people are getting out and enjoying the RV life. Another great way is through looking for different RV groups on Facebook and finding out what's going on there. Our Grateful Glamper Insider community is another great way to just get to know other RVers and find out kind of who's going to be where. And we are putting together a summer caravan for our insiders. So we have the trip already planned out. The dates and the campgrounds have been posted in our insiders group. And so for our summer caravan this summer, we're going to be going from the Central Florida area up to the New England area, ending in Maine, and then coming back down into the Central Florida area. So now that we have kind of learned this little secret of the difference that it makes, and let me just tell you, it's a completely different dynamic when our kids have buddies to hang out with, especially with us still needing to work from the road. It just gives our kids somebody to hang out with and something to do while we're still getting some work done, but then being able to just share, maybe shared meal times or different things together, it just makes this whole experience richer. Just this past week, where we've been at here in the Florida Keys, we were able to meet up with a group called the RV Meetup Club and have like a field trip with the kids. And here's the difference. If we had done this field trip, just us and our family, I guarantee you within 30 minutes, our kids would have been bored. They would have been asking the question, when is this going to be over? When can we move on to the next thing? All of those things would have come into play, but because this was a designated time to get together with other RV families, our kids immediately had a commonality with the other kids that were on this trip. They had buddies to hang out with. They were sharing an experience together. They were all jumping off of the dock into the water together, and our kids probably wouldn't have been as brave to just jump off the dock into the water on their own, but everybody else is doing it, and so it pushes them out of their comfort zone a little bit. The whole dynamic of this particular field trip and this particular experience was changed because we were able to do it with part of the RV community and with other travel families.
We need someone strong to open this coconut.
I'm strong.
So it's just they found
Stronger than me.
Anyway, cool.
What do you guys think?
There are hermit crabs.
Hermit crabs? I can see this claw. There
I
it is.
wonder what kind of shells are under
Turn, look.
Yep, there he is.
He's in my hand.
So we wanted to take a minute real fast to thank Campground Views for sponsoring today's video. Now, trip planning is something that is of utmost importance these days, with campgrounds getting a little bit harder to get into, and campgroundviews.com is our new go-to tool when it comes to trip planning, when it comes to looking at the campground before we actually book. Now, this is a game changer because we have had more than one instance where we have gotten to a particular site, parked our RV, only to realize that there's a bush or a rock or something that really just prevents us from putting out our slides or from accessing our storage compartments underneath. In campgroundviews.com is the only tool that we have found that lets you actually see the campsite before that you book it. So we're able to look at those campsites, make sure they're going to work, and see if maybe there's actually a better campsite within that campground that we would rather have that premium site first. So thanks to campgroundviews.com. There'll be a link in the description below because we highly recommend this tool and of course are grateful to them for sponsoring today's video. Another great way to find community is through different RV rallies. And so there's lots of rallies that happen throughout the year, just wrapped around different things. Sometimes it's around a specific manufacturer, like Grand Design has their annual rally for Grand Design owners. There's other rallies for other different types of RV owners. There's also rallies just based on different interests. So we're going to be attending a rally / conference later in January for those that are creating content. Another great way to connect with other travel families is through social media. In fact, we've been able to connect with other families that we've either seen on platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. In this particular campground, part of the reason that we booked to come here is because we knew that there was another travel family here trying something new that our kids could hang out with and kind of just have those buddies for the week that we're here. Plus, being connected on social media means that we can stay connected and we can see who's doing what and where they are and reconnect again in the future. This is our second time connecting with this particular travel family. So social media is another great way to connect with other RV and travel families and then be able to connect on the road.
Are we on separate teams?
Yeah.
I think we need to be.
You two are team captains, so start choosing.
Okay, Nixon.
3, 2, 1. Get it!
Ooh, ow!
Out of bounds.
Ow! Yes, come on! I looked over and I saw he let the ball go and I'm like, I don't know where it was!
Pass it, Trin.
Trinity! I'm waiting. Okay. Right here.
Scrappy
Right here.
Stepping out into the unknown. Stepping
It's been a while.
whatever's coming on. Stepping out.
Yeah. Nice.
Sounds crazy, but I
Good job.
So finding community on the road is something that I feel like has taken us 4 years to finally find. But I will say that now there's just no way we could continue to live this lifestyle if we didn't know that we had community in different places that we were going to be. So I'll put some links in the description below of just some different communities that are out there that you can check out. Check out some Facebook groups, just do some digging. Find your people on the road. So you'll have to let us know if you have found community on the road, how you found community, just what your thoughts are regarding community and RV lifestyle. Let us know in the comments below. I'm gonna put links for a couple of videos that I think that you might like up here with more family fun things to do RVing, and over here with some more travel series. You can follow us on Instagram right here, and don't forget to subscribe right here so you never miss another video. If we don't see you out on the road or around the campground, we'll see you in the next video.